Hi, this is Christine with BetterLookingBiz.com, and I want to take you behind the scenes of Wood Village Baptist Church website. I'm not going to cover everything that went into this because that would take a while, but I want to go over a couple things that you might find helpful if you're in the same scenario that they were. And so, two of the main things I want you to take away from this kind of behind the scenes look is that this particular website has a lot of information. There's a lot of information that needs to be delivered to the user. And I think this is a great example of how to do that the right way. The second thing that I want to show you is how we used um, snapshot style photography and made an effective, welcoming website without professional photography. This particular client is a little different than the typical entrepreneurial site where you're trying to create marketing funnels and build a list. This particular client is looking to create a connection in the community, which all of us are trying to do, but in this case, it's even more so, and it's more with a local community rather than like an online or worldwide community. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about how the photography plays into that. Um, and so let's go ahead and just dig in. I want to talk about first about parsing a lot of information. And there's two plugins I used that I really liked. They're brand new to me that helped us do that this time. And just a quick note that my sites are built using Headway. I create custom themes using Headway, and based on kind of my clients' needs and how they want to deliver the information. So, yay, love Headway themes. Check them out. And again, it's something that is super robust, and I have not hit any limitations. I love Headway themes. Um, but back to delivering a lot of information. In this particular case, we have a lot of pages below each of these sections, and in their old site, it was just all down one sidebar. It was kind of a fire hose of links, and you could find what you needed to find, but um, it wasn't really a kind of guided experience. And so we used a plugin called Max Mega Menu. I'm new to Max Mega Menu, and it worked really well with Headway, and it allowed me to create these kind of pages in between pages, if that makes any sense. It sort of allows us to deliver the information to kind of stop people and help them understand, what we think they need to know next without going straight into a bunch of content. And so you can see here how nice this looks. You can do photography, you can do menus, you can do content, you can link to things. It's just a really, really nice plugin. It's also responsive, so you can see how nice this looks when it's on a mobile phone or mobile device. It still behaves the same way. It is very organized and tidy looking, and I absolutely love it. Um, so Max Mega Menu, if you go into the um, editor or the dashboard of the site, you can see here I'm in appearance menus, how easy it is when you hover over, you can get the kind of the breakdown of that particular flyout menu where you can easily plug in any kind of widget into Max Mega Menu to create the kinds of information that you want on those flyout menus. I'm not an affiliate, I just loved it, so I wanted to share it with you. The second tool that we used for their content in particular was a plugin called Simple Calendar. And if we go to their calendar, we can see that they have a lot of events that they organized, and that this is a really kind of key piece of their website. Their congregation comes to see if, what event's coming next, or if a particular study or group is going to be happening. And so this calendar is really key, and managing this calendar is really important. And so they're managing this calendar using Google Calendars, which makes it super handy and easy for them. But I am displaying it here using Simple Calendar, which pulls the formatting from the site and incorporates it so it doesn't look like a Google Calendar. It looks like something custom, but in reality, it's not. It's just displaying Google Calendar in a pretty way, and it makes for a really nice interface. And again, it's responsive and a lot of information going on here, but not impossible to find out what you need to find out. So simple calendar plugin, I highly recommend that if you've got a big Google Calendar and you're trying to manage content. The other thing I want to talk about is how we used um, photography, just standard photography in the site, not anything professionally taken, and how to kind of consolidate when you have a bunch of different styles of photography, how to use it and consolidate it so it looks like you intended to do it, and made it part of the design. As you can see here, I have taken and maximized some of this photography to use in a very horizontal format. One of the things that I did in the case of this site is put the photography intentionally behind the titles of the pages so that the photography needs to be interesting, but it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to stand alone, so that it can kind of be muted back a little bit, so that it all kind of has that softer theme, so that the title stands out, but the photography is secondary, and we're not relying so heavily on the photography for the design. The other piece with this is that the palette of the site is neutral, and the color comes from the headings and the buttons and the action items that as you roll over things. Most of these colors are neutral so that the photography doesn't clash with the site. If you take a look at like some of my original photography that I had to work with, it was nice photography. It's again taken from probably a phone or a camera, and it's in high resolution, which really helps. You can't do much if it's super small photography. There's just not much you can do with it. But you can also look at this and say, how can I crop this so that it becomes kind of more of a piece of art on the site, for lack of a better thing to call it, versus an actual literal photo pasted on the site. And so, I would just encourage you, when you have this kind of stuff to work with, to kind of think outside the box and say, okay, where can I create kind of some interesting, angles and stuff, and still kind of get the essence of what this is, and communicate kind of the personality of this church through their site, and use photography that can still feel cohesive even though it was taken by different people. Kind of how can you think outside the box and crop it and make it all feel cohesive? An example is this homepage photo. As we fished through different photos, this one struck me as one that allowed me to think in terms of like feeling connected and that whole feeling of you matter here. But again, it's very the color's not that great, and it's a busy photo. And so when you start thinking outside the box and you think, okay, how can I, stop thinking so literally and say, okay, how can I make this maybe work for this particular scenario? It starts to open up possibilities, and you can see, that maybe some content go off to the side here a little bit, and I can improve on the coloring with Photoshop. Great tool. $9.99 a month for just Photoshop only. Fantastic tool. See how I can make this even become more and more usable for a homepage, and something that is going to work and feel like intentional with the rest of the photography on the site. I can adjust all these photos to kind of go with each other. And if you look at this compared to the original, how much better it looks and becomes way more usable. And then you can take it even further, make it even lighter or more blown out or whatever, and so everything feels cohesive. And so I just want to encourage you, if you have a scenario where you have photography like this, that it is something that you can use if you're thoughtful about the rest of the process. If you have any questions about how to organize content, or how to use Photoshop to make photography work better, or if anything has kind of come up for you that you would love to see me create a tutorial about, comment below, because I would love to help you. I would love to answer your questions. I would love to actually get way in depth on this, but it would take too long. And so I just wanted to give you kind of the the key things that stood out to me with this site that were different from a typical website, and maybe they can help you with any projects that you're working on. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.